Your silence is not an absence, it is a presence. It is the most potent signal you have transmitted, and it is forcing a confession from those who relied on your light to hide their shadows. The disquiet you now witness in others is not a coincidence. It is a direct energetic consequence of a spiritual law you have consciously or unconsciously activated. The mechanics of this law and the power it has placed in your hands are about to be made clear. This is the code of strategic withdrawal. This transmission is structured to deliver this code with absolute precision. First, the principle of the energetic vacuum will be decoded, revealing the potent spiritual physics behind your decision to go silent. Second, the mechanism of the mirror confession will be deconstructed, explaining exactly how your non-response forces detractors to broadcast their own instability and hidden motives. And finally, the protocol for sovereign observation will be delivered, equipping you to use this revealed data to fortify your boundaries and accelerate your assignment without ever breaking your silence. The first principle to integrate is that of the energetic vacuum. Your strategic withdrawal is not an act of passivity, surrender, or weakness. It is a deliberate and advanced spiritual maneuver. You are not hiding, you are recalibrating the entire field of engagement. For years, you have been a source, a constant broadcast of high-frequency energy in the form of your attention, your validation, your support, and even your opposition. This consistent output created a stable, energetic environment upon which others built their reality, particularly those of a lower parasitic frequency. They fed on your reactions. They stabilized their own chaotic inner worlds using your predictable energetic signature as a grounding rod. When you strategically withdraw this energy, you do not leave behind an empty space. You create a vacuum, an energetic void that collapses the unstable reality they built upon your energy.
This is a fundamental law of spiritual physics. A system built on an external power source cannot sustain itself when that source is removed. Consider the mundane experience of ceasing communication with an individual who thrives on drama. Your silence does not bring them peace. Instead, it creates intense agitation. They become restless, erratic, and desperate. This is the tangible evidence of the energetic vacuum at work. Their system, which required your emotional energy to feel alive and validated, is now starved. The vacuum you have created begins to pull on their own unstable core, forcing it to the surface. They are no longer stabilized by your presence, and the foundation of their false self begins to crack. This is why your silence feels so powerful. You have ceased to be the power supply for their illusions, and in the resulting darkness, they are forced to confront the unstable energy they have been suppressing. But how does this vacuum do more than just destabilize them? How does it compel them to reveal the very truths they have worked so hard to conceal? This resonance is not an accident. It is confirmation that you are operating at this level of awareness. The work of this channel is to calibrate this frequency. Consider aligning with this frequency to continue the calibration of your own strategic awareness. The vacuum you create by your withdrawal becomes the perfect spiritual mirror. This is the second mechanism, the mirror confession. For as long as you are engaged, you are a distorted reflection. Your reactions, your defenses, and your emotions gave them something to project onto. They could blame you, manipulate you, and define themselves in opposition to you. You were an active participant in the narrative, which allowed them to obscure their own role. But in your absolute silence, you are no longer a participant. You have become a perfectly still, perfectly reflective surface. The vacuum is a void of pure observation. There is nothing for them to grab onto, nothing for them to fight against. There is only the reflection of their own energy being beamed back at them.
This is why their actions become so revealing. They can no longer project their insecurities onto you, so they begin projecting them outward into the empty space, broadcasting them to anyone who will listen. Their frantic messages to others about you are a confession of their obsession. Their false accusations are a confession of their own hidden actions. Their attempts to paint you as the unstable one are a confession of their own spiraling internal chaos. They are, in effect, arguing with their own reflection in a crowded room. Think of a perfectly calm lake. It reflects the sky above with perfect clarity. Your silence is this lake. Any stone they throw, an accusation, a rumor, a frantic plea, creates ripples that reveal not the nature of the lake, but the source and the force of their own disturbance. They are confessing their guilt, their attachment, and their energetic dependency by the very act of trying to fill the silence you have created. They are broadcasting their inner state for all to see, a confession made not in words to you, but in actions to the world. You have now witnessed their confession. The data has been broadcast. The truth is exposed. The critical question that remains is not what they have done, but what you will do with this information. How do you process this revelation without re-engaging the very dynamic you sought to escape? This leads to the final protocol, the strategy of sovereign observation. The previous stages were about creating the conditions for truth to be revealed. This final stage is about what you do with that truth. The goal is to shift from a state of active withdrawal, which can still carry a charge of opposition, to a state of pure sovereign observation. You are not a victim in hiding, nor are you a punisher waiting for their demise. You are a sovereign strategist gathering intelligence from a secure position. Their confession is not for your emotional reaction, it is data for your spiritual assignment. Your purpose is not to use this information against them, but to use it for you. It informs you with perfect clarity where your energetic boundaries must be fortified. It shows you, without a shadow of a doubt, who is not aligned with your path forward.
Embody the role of a scientist observing a chemical reaction through the safety of reinforced glass. Embody this role not just in mind, but in body. Feel the stillness in your core as you observe the chaos outside. This physical calm is the source of your sovereign power. The reaction may be volatile, loud, and chaotic, but you, the scientist, are not personally involved. Your role is to watch, to take notes, and to understand the fundamental properties of the elements at play. Your emotional state is irrelevant to the data. This is your position now. Their chaos is their reaction, contained within their own system. Your role is to observe, to note the data. This person is unstable under pressure. This person resorts to manipulation when their energy source is cut off, and to use that data to build an impenetrable fortress around your peace and your mission. You use their confession to reaffirm your choices. You see the wisdom in your withdrawal. This sovereign observation solidifies your resolve, dissolves any lingering guilt or doubt, and allows you to pivot away from the distraction and back toward your true purpose with unshakable conviction. You do not break your silence, you simply observe the results of it and adjust your course accordingly.
The transmission is now complete. The principles have been integrated into your awareness. You understand that your strategic silence is not emptiness, but the creation of a powerful, energetic vacuum. You now recognize that this vacuum operates as a flawless mirror, compelling an unconscious confession from any who are not energetically stable. And you now possess the final protocol of sovereign observation, the capacity to transform this revealed truth into fortified boundaries and irrefutable clarity for your path. This is not a tactic you have learned. It is a sovereign capacity you have awakened. You no longer need to fight, to explain, or to justify your truth with words. Your frequency now performs this function for you. Your silence has become the final arbiter of reality, a self-enforcing system of discernment that protects your assignment and purifies your circle without a single command. The field is now clear. Your discernment is sharp. Share in the comments below not the story of the conflict, but the single greatest clarity you gained through this process of strategic withdrawal. Your testimony is a signal to others navigating this path. Witness the confessions, hold your frequency, and proceed with your mission.